This is Echo Middle East, where the region's most powerful human stories are told. Iran is burning again, and this time, it's not just about rising prices. Years of corruption, economic collapse, and political paralysis have pushed the nation to the edge, and the streets are paying the price. But this time, no one is surprised, because this moment has been anticipated for a long time. Experts had been warning for months. When people cannot afford to live, they eventually take to the streets. The gap between public expectations and Iran's deepening economic crisis had pushed society to the edge of an explosion. The only unknowns were the timing, the location, and the spark that would ignite it. Now, that spark has ignited. Heavy economic pressure, uncontrolled price hikes, a sharp rise in the dollar, and chaos in the labor market. All of this had already laid the groundwork for a new wave of street protests in Iran. In the first days of the protests, the government and state-aligned media appeared to acknowledge public discontent. But they framed it strictly as a cost of living issue. There was no talk of the system, no talk of the regime, and no mention of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. As tensions in the streets grew, the tone of the state hardened. Protesters were no longer described as citizens, but as rioters and threats to public order. In several regions, officials called for legal, judicial, and decisive responses. Images of violence increased. Clashes spread. In the early days, criticism focused on President Mahsa Pezeshkian. Yet one detail stood out. There were no chants against the system, and none against Khamenei. Government promises of food assistance and emergency credit programs failed to calm the streets. Because the problem ran deeper. Just 2 days before the protests erupted, economist Saeed Leilaz warned, "Iran has been plundered. Economic growth is zero. 40% of banking assets exist only on paper." Then came his most striking conclusion. The legitimacy of the Islamic Republic has collapsed. Political analyst Kal Harudi believes these protests differ from previous waves. First reason, Iran is in limbo. After the 12-day confrontation with Israel, the country became unable to make decisions. Society is waiting. The state is frozen. Second reason, the question of an alternative. During the Mahsa Amini movement, the opposition was fragmented. Today, one figure stands out, Reza Pahlavi. And the Iranian leadership now views him as a rival and a potential alternative. The third factor is the new generation. Young people and students trust neither reformists nor hardliners. And the last remaining hope placed in Pezeshkian is rapidly fading. The fourth and most critical point is this. These protests are fundamentally economic. That is why the government can no longer easily blame them on foreign enemies. On the third day of protests, Pezeshkian met with merchants and shopkeepers, promising solutions. But the criticism was harsh. Too late, symbolic gestures. Economist Leilaz summed it up bluntly. There are meetings but no decisions. There is no system left capable of making decisions, even wrong ones. The Iranian state tolerates the street only when it controls it. Pro-government rallies make headlines. Protests, however, are suppressed, softened, or criminalized. Now the streets are full. The unrest is spreading from city to city. Anger is converging. And the question is unavoidable. Will these protests be crushed? Or is Iran finally facing the reckoning it has long postponed? Because history shows one thing clearly. Protests that begin with economic hardship rarely end with economics alone. If you want more deep, human-centered stories from the Middle East, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Echo Middle East. Thank you for watching.